I feel just, she can hear the little one over yonder. But basically, I just want to share with you what the Lord has been sharing with me and just teaching me through this season of hardship and and opening up just wounds from the past, I guess you could say. Actually, wounds that, I prayed for healing, and it just shows God's goodness because I prayed for healing, and the Lord is giving me healing that I didn't even know that I needed. My brain actually had repressed things that is now coming back to into remembrance, and it's been really good because I have felt healing. And so I just want to share, as I've been going through that, I just want to encourage people because I know we're all suffering in all different ways, and physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and we've had so much wrong done to us. So yes, we have, we're sinners, and but we also have sinned, people who sin against us. And so the verse that kept coming to mind during this season of my life, and it still does because I'm still in the midst of all of it, and I just want to thank you guys for bearing with me. And I know that I've only been alive on this earth for almost 28 years now, and so I know some people have experienced a lot of pain and a lot of hardship, and so let me just say that your pain is like, I know, I don't know your pain specifically, but I think we all have experienced pain to some extent, and some more harshly than others. But let me just say that what I'm speaking from today is from an immense amount of pain, and but also an immense amount of joy in the midst of it. And so what I'm going to speak about is about in the Genesis 50 verses 18 through 21. And basically what this verse says is, behold, so his brothers have come back down, have come to him because they're scared that Joseph is going to punish them. So basically the story of Joseph, if anyone just needs a reminder, Joseph was he was a brother, and his father gave him, he had special favor in a sense, and they gave him this special coat, and his brothers ended up becoming jealous. And so what they ended up doing, over time, their jealousy grew and grew, so they actually ended up selling Joseph into slavery. And he ended up with the Pharaoh, at the Pharaoh's right hand, and we see that the God gives him a dream that ends up saving millions of people in the midst of a drought, because he was able to share with the Pharaoh what his dream meant about the cows, and was like, no, so let's start storing up food over the next several years, for when the drought comes, we'll be able to portion it out and save people. So this is the verse that kept coming to mind. So this is after they come up to Joseph, and they're waiting for his response, because they're worried that Joseph is going to punish, because Joseph now has a very high power next to the Pharaoh. And this is what Joseph said. And his brothers also came and fell down before him and said, behold, we are your servants. But Joseph said to them, do not fear, for am I in the place of God? As for you, you meant evil against me, but God meant it for good, to bring it about that many people should be kept alive as they are today. Do not fear. I will provide for you and your little ones. Thus he comforted them and spoke kindly to them. But let me read the one verse that really sinks down. As for you, you meant evil against me, but God meant it for good. God meant it for good. What they meant for evil, God meant it for good. This is what I have been clinging to. One of the verses I've been clinging to, because that means what was done against me, God meant it for good. And if you're in the midst of it and it's hard to see, like, how could God mean this for good? I know it is hard, but you have to trust God in this. Now, if you're in something abusive, please seek help. I'm not saying to stay in it and to wait it out. But if you're in the midst of just whatever pain you may be in, and you're so confused, and you're like, why is this happening to me? But God is meaning it for good. So for me, what happened to me as a child is now I'm seeing the fruition of everything that took place that has brought me here to this moment, because I have the husband that I have. The Lord has brought me to salvation. The Lord has brought me a beautiful daughter. And I mean, I don't know if I would be here if these events hadn't have taken place. And I don't know if I can help other women that have gone through similar, or just in general, similar things that I have gone through, that I will be able to just walk beside them. And that's another thing, is God is walking with you through whatever trial you are going through. Because if you look at, there's a story about these men, and they get thrown into a furnace, these 3 men, and then all of a sudden while they're in the furnace, so a fire is around them, they're wanting to burn them. Fourth man, a fourth figure appears, and it's amazing because this fourth figure protects them from the fire. That was God. God was protecting them. Though they are still in the furnace, they were still going through that. He was with them, protecting them. And though you may not see what He is protecting you from in the moment, He still is. And it may not be clear, but it will be clear if you give it time. I think the season He's really taking me through is just releasing these false perceptions I have of Him, because I have such a low view of God, and we need to exalt Him. We need to put Him high up, because He is so much greater than anything we have ever imagined. He is holy. What does holy mean? It means unique. There is nothing, no one, anything like Him on this planet, on this earth. So we need to just trust Him, because what is happening, He is meaning it for good. I know that everything that I have gone through, the pain, all of that, He has meant it for good. I still may not see the total fruition of what He is forming and cultivating because of it, but I can see it now, and it is beautiful, and it is amazing, and it just makes me want to bow in reverence and just say, oh mighty God, I am yours, and I bow to everything you are doing and want, and I trust you with everything, and I give you my life. I just wanted to encourage you to what is happening, that you don't need to fear, that you are in the almighty hands of God's hands, that He is holding you in His palms, that He is your rock, He is your fortress, that you do not need to fear, but that you need to trust, just really go into the scriptures, because if you're wondering, that's our heart, that's an issue that we need to seek, that we need to get into the scriptures, we need to get into prayer, get others around you to bear the burden and to be in prayer with you, that we would gain trust in Him, because He is trustworthy. He is our God. He is the one who withstood the wrath of God on the cross, not just for one, but for multitudes of people. The wrath that we would crumble, that we would disintegrate, that we couldn't withstand. So He took that for multitudes, and He survived. He defeated death. and he survived the wrath. So I just encourage you that to really dig deep into the scriptures. There's such good verses and that do not fear. For as whatever has happened to you, though it was meant for evil, God has meant it for good. And to grasp onto that and know that that you are in God's hands, that nothing is unknown to him. He knows everything. And though there are things that you cannot see, he is working for you and through you and just around you and just everywhere. So anyways, this is such a beautiful verse, and it's something that I have really been holding on to, and I hope that it encourages everyone else or anyone, even if it's just one person, because it's meant a lot to me, and it's really kept me. It's really broke down a lot of questions I had, because I was like, where was he? But no, he was in there with me, and so. Thank you, and I hope you guys have a amazing, wonderful day in the Lord, and that he gives you new revelations of himself, that he opens up even new verses that are just amazing, and that he just continues to just break off these chains, these false perceptions that we have created, that the world has put in us, and that as children of God, that we become rooted in his word. Amen. In Jesus' name.